Hello everybody, welcome to another video, and today I want to show you how you can play a solo RPG with absolutely no rules. So if you're worried, what's the system that you like best? What system should you use to play your solo RPG? Should you try to adapt a system that you like, or should you try to find a game that is already a solo game? This video is just showing you that you don't need any of that. You don't need any of those worries. You can just pick up your dice and have a few things ready, and you can play without like remembering anything else. Okay, so for today, I'm going to use things from my little RPG box, which I have a full video on the channel. You need a few things to get into playing something right away, and maybe you need fewer things than what I'm going to show here. Okay, so I'm going to use an oracle. You will need a yes or no oracle, and preferably also a detailed oracle, which means something that gives other answers besides yes or no. Like this one is a iconic oracle, so I'm going to roll on this and get an icon and use those icons as a prompt for what is going to happen or what's the answer I'm looking for. There are also oracles like this. There are tables of words. These are also more detailed oracles. So you just need two, one yes or no and one detailed, and then you choose which one you prefer. These ones I have available on my itch.io page. The links will be down below, but you can just honestly just Google RPG, solo RPG oracle, and you can find tons and tons and choose one that fits your style and is something that you like. The reason I created these in cards is because I like these oracles and they are compact enough that I don't stay forever rolling into infinite tables. Okay, but you can choose any oracles that you want. One yes or no and one detailed oracle. That's what you need. Besides that, of course, you're going to need dice, and the type of dice will depend highly on what you have with you and how the gameplay is going to unravel. And you'll see once we started playing. And the other thing you're going to need is some type of map. Again, you don't need that. You can go off your head, of your imagination right away, just thinking what's happening. You can just get a blank piece of paper or a grid and start scribbling on it to make up a map. Anything's fine. I will use another tool that I showed here in the channel. It's the deck of many dungeons. Okay, I have this mini version that I printed myself, and this is a deck with a lot of parts of dungeons that I can combine together by pulling cards, you know. So this is what I'm going to use here, and I have a full video on that, so you can go check it out. I'm not going to be using the rules from the deck. I'm just going to be pulling cards to make up a map without worrying about rules. That's the point of this video. I don't worry about rules, and I just like the imagery here. I think it's very cute. It is a style that I really love, so that helps when you're playing something. If like the characters, the maps, everything is in a style that is appealing to you, it helps you to immerse into things. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to leave my dice like here open to the side because we may use them, we may not. You see what I mean once we started playing. There are a lot of other tools here that we may use, but I realize that not everybody has all of those tools, so that may not be the best example on how to play a solo RPG without resources. For example, we need a character to start playing, right? You could just go online and find like an image of like an actual photo of a person, an actual photo of a character that you want to play. You can just come up with one of the characters from a TV show, a cartoon, anything that you like, and play as that character specifically. That's totally fine. If you have any tools for generating characters like tables, or there are a lot of sites online that can generate characters for you, that's also great. I have shown here in the channel these dice here, which has different classes. These are the typical D&D classes that we come to know on the more recent versions. So you could use something like this. I am just going off of my head here, not using any tools. I like to play with magic users, so I'm going to create a witch. So I'm going to play with a witch. And you can come up with her characteristics like hair, eyes, height, everything about her. You can come up with everything about your character. For the sake of this video, let's just say I'm playing with a witch, and anything else that we need, we can come up with as the game progresses. Okay, so we have a witch and we can create a dungeon. So I'm just going to get some cards here. I need an entrance. Okay, this is an example of an entrance, and this is an example of a finish for the dungeon using this deck in particular. So I'm just going to take these two cards with our rules, and I'm going to mix things up, and I'm just going to be pulling them out. If you watched my video on how to use this deck, and if you know how to use this deck, if you go and watch my video how to use this deck, you'll see that I'm not going to be following every single rule here. I just want to create something really fast. So let's see. I know this is how it ends, I know this is how it works, but as you can see, I cannot really connect these like perfectly, so I'm just going to the next card. Not going to worry about it. Okay, so we have one here that I can put in this area, and my character will be here. So let's use these little dice as a marker for her. So you don't need miniatures. You probably have like a D6 or a pebble. You can get a clip, anything to represent your character. So this is my character. I'm going to call her Lana. That's it. That's her name, Lana. If you're using the deck of many dungeons, we have tables here to generate names, so you can roll on that too. It's up to you. So let's find out why is Lana here. So that's why we're going to use a details table like this one that gives us an answer that is not a yes or no, that gives you more substance. So for this, we're going to need dice. This one in particular that I created is a D12, 2D12 actually. So I'm going to get 2D12s here. The black one is the horizontal, the transparent one is the vertical. So I got 5, and this one is a little bit hard to see, but it's a number 6. So 5 and 6. Let me get one that is better to see. I think this one's better to see. Okay, so 5 and 6 gives me this little scale that to me represent like justice, balance, something like that. Let's get another icon. I got 12 and 2, so I have the 12 and the 2, and we have a feather. Okay, so scale and feather, and one last icon. I usually go for 3. 6 and 6, so we got here 6 and 6. It's a pair of cuffs, handcuffs. So I will say that she's trying to save someone that is being judged as a criminal. He's like locked in to be judged as a criminal, and the only clue that she has is a feather that took her to this dungeon where she knows that some birds with those specific feathers fly around all the time. She found this dungeon in a forest where these types of birds exist. That's what I'm coming up with, these three icons here. You could also just roll in a word table, like get 2-3 words and come up with something based on that. Things are flying here, I'm sorry, because it's really hot here in Brazil already, and I just can't deal with that. Okay, so that's it. That's her mission. She's trying to save someone who is innocent, or who she thinks is innocent, and it led her to this dungeon. And now we can do it here. And actually, I'm not going to have a predefined end. I'm going to leave it here. We're just going one thing at a time. So let's say that she's here in the entrance, and let's ask the oracle, does she find something there? Let me get a d20. My oracle is a d20. There are a lot of oracles with other type of dice, so you can choose whatever. Does she find something in the entrance? A 20, yes, and so she finds something, and there's an extra addition to that I'm going to say it's a helpful clue or something like that. If you don't have anything coming out of your imagination at the moment you roll the dice and get the yes, you can roll on one of the detail tables, or the one that you find. You just need one. I have 2 here, but you just need one. You can roll to kind of get some clues on what's happening. But since I already know that she had a clue that was the little feather, and that's what took her to the forest where those types of birds typically stay, and she found this dungeon based on that, I'm going to say that she found more of these feathers, which indicates that she's in the right place. But she didn't know this dungeon existed, so she decides to investigate. What does she find extra here? Because we had a yes and. For this one, just to give you a different example, I'm going to roll on this word oracle here, which for some people can be more clarifying than an iconic oracle. That's totally fine. It's not a problem. And for that, we are going to use my D100, which is what this oracle uses. And there's an A and a B column, so I roll one time for the A, one time for the B, and combine the two things. So what extra did she find? I got 51, so it is... What is the 51? Here. Fear. And 94, oops, sorry, 94 for B is complication, fear complication. So I will say that she found the feathers, which indicates that she's on the right track, but she also found some type of weird energy that made she feel fear. And being a witch, I'm going to say that she identifies that this is magic energy and type of a spell that is trying to prevent her or anyone from going into this dungeon that she just entered. Now, I'm going to say that she has an advantage being a magic thing, and she's a magic user. And I'm going to roll here using one of my modifiers, saying that does she pass through this fear, this magic fear, and I'm going to say that it's likely because she's a magic user. So I have a +3 to my roll here, so I can roll a d20 and add a +3. Oh, so that's a 20 +3, yes. And so she passed through it, and I'm going to say that since she is experienced with magic, she can identify what type of magic this is and what's going on, what type of creature, maybe what type of thing is there. And to do that, I'm going to use one of my oracles to find out what is this type of magic, or what it's like related to. So again, my 2d12s, I got an 11 and a 10, so I get 11 and 10 with a hammer. Okay, like a big hammer, and 7 and 7, so 7 and 7. We have like a big star. Maybe it's a shiny thing, like a point of light, a beacon of light, something like that. So I got the hammer and the beacon of light. And to get my third icon, I like to do 3, but you can do just 1 if you want. 7 and 12. So 7 and 12, it's a clock. Okay, so a hammer, a beacon of light, and a like a clock, a alarm clock, but I'm going to interpret just as a normal clock. I like as time is ticking. I'm going to say that there is some type of energy being controlled by an immense force. I'm going to interpret the big hammer as immense force, and it's a ticking clock. This magic, it comes from an immense force, and it's a ticking clock. I still want to know what this immense force is, because I think our good roll on the oracle suggests that she would know what this is, what type of monster this is. Maybe one more. We got a 10 and a 9. Ooh, we got like this icon here, which seems like a path being drawn out around obstacles. Which kind of talks to me about strategy. That's why I love this oracle, because I can interpret icons however I want, and there are millions of ways to interpret a different image. Different people will do different things. So this kind of tells me of strategy and planning, like you purposefully went around the obstacles and found your way out of it. So it kind of tells me a little bit about intelligence. So I will say that there is some type of dark wizard, evil wizard that set up this dungeon. All this magic energy belongs to him, and he is the one that set up our, let's say, our friend that is being judged, and we need to find him and why he did that to save that friend that's being unfairly judged somewhere. Okay, so the card we found here was this one, and I'm going to follow it here. There is an entrance here, but she obviously doesn't know that this is a side entrance. I'm going to say it's a door, and we can ask the oracle, is this door locked? To see, is this door locked? 13. Yes. I would say that it would be curious to see a door here, so she would try to unlock it. Can she unlock it? To no end. Okay, no end. I'm going to say that she tries to unlock it, and then a burst of energy just like blows and sends her on her back. She falls. So the problem, or maybe not the problem, with this type of play, that I'm not using any rules, I'm just like telling a story basically with some principles of RPG, is we don't have hit points, so how do we manage those things? You can come up with a way to do that, which I do sometimes. I say like, oh, she has 30 hit points, and I can keep marking that off. But if you don't want to like take notes or mark anything or have a pen or nothing, you just use like these basic tools, a deck oracle and your set of dice. You can carry like one set of dice like I usually do, and that's enough. You can be asking the oracle that. You can ask the oracle to do everything for you, basically. So we can ask, does she get hurt by that? That's a 10. Maybe. Okay, maybe. I would say that I would ask, is she able to continue the adventure? 2. No. So that was a big explosion that probably knocked her unconscious. That's what I'm going to say. So she isn't able to continue. She was unconscious. And then we can go into another like scene. She was knocked unconscious, so probably that wizard or the person that was controlling the magic took her to like a cell or a prison or something and started like something else, like just we started new scene, we started a new part of the adventure based on that. If we would have gotten yes, I would kept going. So in terms of the hit points, that's what I would do. So is she able to continue? Is she still on like up on her feet? Is she still like conscious? I would ask questions like that. And if I got a no, she's not conscious. Okay, so that was a big blow and she's unconscious. It doesn't mean that she's dead. She might get like kidnapped, locked away into a cell, and then we can start working with the game there to see if she can get out of it, find something around her, use maybe her magic to do something and try to get out of there. That's how I would proceed on that, considering that you want to use just these tools that I showed you. And let me just put everything back together. So what I'm coming up with is a map or something that can generate a map, something to explore. Your dice, you need one set of dice. So let me put this one as an example, one set of dice, and your 2 oracles. That's it. With this, you can play a full RPG game. And I've done that multiple times. You guys know that I have usually my RPG wallet with me with some options of games. But sometimes I just take this in my actual wallet, my money wallet. It stays there, and my dice. I don't even take the map. I can just like open my phone and draw on a note-taking app or something. And that's it. That's all you may need to play your game. Not even these, you can roll digital dice. So I hope that's an inspiration for you to just start playing something. If you want to play a solo RPG and you had no idea what to do, just get an oracle and go from there. I'm sure you can have awesome adventures. I'm not going to finish this one, although I am really interested in knowing, being locked in a cell, what would our character do? But maybe another time. I see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.